Hello PMPs to be. I'm going to show you a quick way of sorting out ITTOs. ITTOs are some of the most annoying pieces of the PMBOK guide to master and understand, except you know the secret. And the secret is all in the deliberate intentional discovery. Deliberate intentional discovery. DID. You have to be deliberate about knowing these ITTOs. You have to be intentional about it, and you have to discover them. So let me show you a quick view of the typical process in the PMBOK guide. If you take a look here, you can see we've got integration management and we've got develop project charter, and all of these are inputs, tools and techniques, and outputs. Now, face value, people just take a look at this and say, oh yeah, they're ITTOs, and I have them in my head. But when you look closely, you need to actually discover what each of these pieces are. You need to ask yourself, what does it really mean when I say project scope statement or business case or agreements? So I would like you to take a look at this picture over here. This picture is from one of my live classes, and what these students are doing is sorting. I call it the ITTO sorting game. What they're doing is sorting out ITTOs, very similar to this. Now this is very scrappy. I just put this together, taking a piece of paper and just cutting it up in a very scrappy fashion. It's not in making them look all nice and pristine. It's about the hands-on approach to getting this stuff into your head. So I've taken one process out of the 47 and I've broken out my ITTOs into these various pieces from a sheet of paper. So take a look. I've got project charter. I've got project statement of work. I've got expert judgment. I've got EEF, which everyone knows what that means, enterprise environmental factors. I've got facilitation techniques, scribbled in a not too fancy fashion. I've got business case. I've got OPA, which stands for Organizational Process Assets. I was quite impressed at the PMI to begin abbreviating that. You know, spare us some space, PMI, EEFs and OPAs. And then we've got agreements. Okay, so we've got all of these ITTOs from one process. One of the best ways to get this into your head is to sit down with all of these ITTOs and put them in order of all the inputs, all the tools and techniques, and all the outputs. Similar to what you've got there. You see they've got 3 columns of inputs, tools and techniques, and outputs. So with this, taking a look at OPAs, we know those are inputs. Taking a look at EEFs, we know those are inputs. Okay, how about the project charter? It really depends on the process. You see the logic? I want you to get into the mindset of what exactly is this doing relative to everything else. Is it an input, tool and technique, and output? It's a great brain exercise. Take a look at business case. You'll realize that there are some unique ITTOs. The business case is unique in that you only see it in Develop Project Charter. It does not appear anywhere else. So this is obviously an input to Develop Project Charter. So we've got 3 of them down. What else do we have? We have the Project Charter, and since we know business case is unique to Develop Project Charter, then the Project Charter has got to be the output. Agreements. Agreements cannot be an output of developing the charter. It has to be an input. So we're going to put this over here. What else do we have? We have project statement of work. If you have not seen one of these before, I highly advise you to take a look on the web. If you've got our book, Project Management Essentials, you could see a copy of that in there, of what a project statement of work actually looks like. We're going to take that. We know it's an input. It's unique, again, to Develop Project Charter. This exercise will sensitize you to the unique inputs and the unique outputs of each process. So we're going to take project statement of work and we're going to put that in our inputs. Then we're going to look at what we've got left. facilitation techniques. The word techniques gives that away. It's a technique, obviously, isn't it? And then expert judgment, which is a recurring theme, definitely a technique. And when you're done, you've got a complete set of inputs, tools and techniques, and outputs. It's the repetition of this stuff that helps you get it into your head. But one last thing I would like you to do as you carry out this exercise, I would like you to go over all of the pieces before you put them back into the box or the envelope where they belong. Because, my students, they have 47 envelopes, one for each process, and this is a great puzzle to keep them refreshed in this stuff. So before they put it back in the envelope, they need to ask themselves, have I seen one like this before? Have I seen a project statement of work? What does it look like? What are some of the core components? What would I typically mix this up with, and how can I distinguish it from that other ITTO that I mix it up with? A lot of people tend to mix up project statement of work with the project scope statement. This is very high level and preliminary compared to the project scope statement. The project scope statement is more fleshed out. It has inclusions, exclusions, constraints, assumptions. You need to see what these things look like to know the differences between them. Agreements refers to contracts and all the other types of agreements. Business case, if you've never seen one, try to find one. So all of these things, I want you to actually know what they look like. In that way, you're gonna be able to match what you can see with what you know. It's not enough to know this stuff. You have to know what it looks like. And in that way, you build a mental picture of what it is, what it looks like, what it's used for, and then you have the complete picture to help you recall any of this stuff on the exam. So I hope that helps you. I'd like you to try this for all the 47 processes. The more you do it, the more this stuff is going to stick. And as it sticks, you find the questions more realistic, easy to answer. You're able to pin down what they're looking for. You know what they're not looking for. You're able to eliminate the, seemingly correct answers from the best answer. So I hope that helps. Try the ITTO sorting game. Speak to you soon.